So unless we're uttering Shuddha, pure Krishna Nam, we are actually practically not even on the Madhyam level. This means I'm chanting with attention, and I'm chanting with sufficient time during the day. I'm not just chanting, 16 rounds. This is what, some groups think. Oh, this was never enough. Prabhupada, when he first went to the West, he wanted to introduce 64 rounds. This is what his intention was, and then he realized that they couldn't. So then he said, all right, 32 rounds. Then he realized they couldn't even do that. He said, all right, minimum 16. Minimum. What does that mean? 16 rounds, you're not really going to be progressing in your consciousness very much. It'll be like when you're treading water. When you're in the water, you know what that means? You're not actually moving, you're just staying afloat. You're perhaps staying free from Maya, but you're not really making very much progress spiritually. Because to go deep, we need to actually chant more. 32 rounds is kind of respectable, and with 32 rounds a day, the devotee starts to consider himself a devotee. He starts to have the abhiman. Yes, I actually am a devotee. I'm chanting 32 rounds. That takes what, 2-3 hours? 4 hours, say. 4 hours. Actually, what happens is the first 16 takes the longest, the second 16 is quicker, and the third 16 is even quicker, and the fourth 16 takes about an hour. Just, that's how it goes. It builds up and you're still chanting pure. You're still chanting good. So we have to consider this, being in the Holy Dham, and if you can connect with Harinam in the Holy Dham, there's so much fortune, inestimable fortune. We have a long way to go. Okay, so you might be free from the court of Yamaraj. Maybe you don't have to go to hell. But that's the negative aspect. But you want to go to Goloka Vrindavan. So if you want to go to Goloka Vrindavan, there's a lot of purification that must take place. And we have the opportunity now, if we're smart, and we think, what is the most important thing? First, I must heal myself before I try to heal other people. If someone is drowning in a river and you can't swim, how can you save them? You can't save them. If you run out there to save them, he'll drown you as well. So first we have to learn to swim. And if you're trying to encourage someone in the principal process, which is to chant more than 16, at least chant 17. Don't get stuck in that crazy, that time, that frame, that only 16. And then you hang your beat up and you think, now I finished with my mala today. Actually, even if you're chanting 1 lakh or 2 lakhs, you've never finished your mala. There's always should be some more. Because every time we chant, we're going to get more inspiration come. Especially here. Because it's connecting directly to the source. The source contains sound vibration. It's sound. Originally coming from the sound of Krishna's flute. It's called Shabda Brahman. We want to connect with that sound. It's that sound that's going to purify my contaminated consciousness and bring me the inspiration to try to render service to Krishna. If I'm trying to render service to Krishna, I'm going to feel completely satisfied. Service to Krishna, of course, under guidance of Guru. If it's not under guidance of Guru, then it's just under the guidance of my mind. That's not good enough. Because I've said before, Guru represents the entire Guru Parampara. When I say Guru, I mean Bhakti Vinod Thakur. I mean Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. I mean Bhakti Pragyan Keshav. All these personalities are embodied within the form of Guru. So if I'm serving Guru, this is how I know if my devotion's going well. If I know that I'm pleasing my Guru, that means I'm pleasing Krishna. Because there are so many different things we can do. So that we can dig in the vegetable garden, we can go out on the street, we can do so many different activities, but which is the best activity? to actually purify you at this particular point in time. And it's different for different people. It's not all the same. It's not that everyone should go out and distribute books. Not everyone should do this or everyone should do that. We each have our own capacities, our own adhikar. Some will be cooks, some will be pujaris, etc. Some will be writing, some will be printing, some will be working with the computers, etc. We all have our, some are working like this with technological. This is very good. This is wonderful service. So we have to figure out what pleases Guru. And chanting the holy name has to always be in the background or the foreground, we can say, because that has to be in place to begin with. If that chanting hasn't taken place at the beginning of the day in the early morning hours, it's only really the early morning hours that this will work, because that's when the atmosphere is clean, the Brahma Muhurta hour. It's the only time in the day of the mode of goodness. After the Brahma Muhurta hour, then comes the mode of passion. All industry begins, everyone's working, running to work, etc. That's Rajagun. And then after Rajagun, then comes Tamagun in the afternoon. And then evening time is Rajagun again. And then night time is Tamagun again. The only time is Brahma Muhurta hour. So that's the time to capitalize. And what's happening in the Brahma Muhurta hour? The most ecstatic lila to meditate on, this Nishanta lila. Radha and Krishna are in their tightest embrace in the whole 24 hours at that time in the Brahma Muhurta, in the Nishanta lila. And then they've got to separate. Vrinda Devi, she's telling all the birds to start singing, making beautiful sound. Radharani, she curses them. Oh, go to hell. I want to stay here with Krishna. Then the sound stops. And she thinks, oh, did they go to hell? But then she doesn't care. She just wants to be with Krishna. But then somehow or other they have to separate. And then Krishna has to go back alone. Radharani, she's taken back by all her Sakhis. Practically carried back to Javad. Krishna, he has no one with him. He falls from one tree to the next tree to the next tree, finally gets back to Nandagan, falls in his bed. As soon as he falls in his bed, Mother Yashoda comes in to wake him up. So all these pastimes are going through the mind of the sadhaka at the Brahma Muhurta hour, at this time of the day. It's the most beautiful time to chant. And during this time, we have enough time to chant comfortably at least 32 rounds. If you get up early enough, you get up at 3 o'clock, something like that. Why not? I mean, it's not that there's any other activity going on after 8:30 at night. There's nothing else going on except your mind spinning around. So you want to put that rest, and then if you take rest then you can easily get up then. Because we shouldn't deprive ourselves of the sleep that's needed. Don't become crazy. You take sufficient food, sufficient sleep, etc., etc., balanced. These are all aspects of Vaishnavism, all aspects of how to proceed that I'm saying here.